Jacob, is that a cigar?
Facebook, I guess. It was a king-size Sharpie.
Looks like a cigar. I was like, God damn, is he bringing cigars to this? That's awesome.
No, I would never smoke this close to my PC.
We're doing a whiskey and cigar episode.
we should do that.
It'd be fun. We kind of need the main setup though for that one.
we have Jacob take a sip of whiskey, and he just goes, "Not about that."
No.
Oh God!
All right, do we want to get started?
I'm ready.
Go for it. You do you, JJ.
All right, let me get into my space. I have to be funnier than both of you, so I have to get zen.
You don't have to try all that hard.
Is it really that hard?
According to the guys at Mind Grenade, Alex is barely bringing anything.
My fucking tongue's still blue.
Why's your tongue blue?
I had some airheads.
Smart call. Good call.
Are you still working off that big ass box you bought like a year ago? Nice, dude.
How many do you have like a night?
I've had 2 today because I kind of had a shitty morning, so I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna eat some airheads." But
where's my serotonin sticks? Oh, that's better.
Have you guys ever done the thing where you like shake them and then they get to they get smaller but like thicker, and then you get like this really?
No.
You've never seen that?
Just feel like that's just a Jolly Rancher.
No, it's like a thicker and juicier. It makes it like juicier, but it's just.
I've never heard of that before.
Let me ask you this: do you unwrap or keep the wrapping on when you eat your cheeseburger at McDonald's?
I unwrap it.
I keep it half on, half off, or you just.
So you don't eat the wrapper?
I don't eat the wrapper. Obviously, I don't eat the wrapper.
Do you eat the wrapper, JJ?
Do you eat?
Hey everybody, welcome back to hey, fuck, I fucked it up.
You've only done it 15 times now, so.
What are we on? Let me know.
15.
I'm gonna say it. This is episode 15?
Episode 15.
Wow.
I think.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Can't Sit Still podcast, a podcast where we go through news and current event topics and try and make it as funny and informative as possible. We try and keep on the offbeat, more left than center topics. We're not going to talk about any tax returns, any wildfires. We're going to talk about any deaths and any Supreme Court justices. We're just going to talk about weird things that happened around the world. I'm joined today by my co-host Delavan.
Hey, quick thing. Have you ever noticed that we all have the same haircut, kind of?
It's similar. We're white men, so I mean, it's just different shades of the same
color. I haven't got a haircut in like 2 months now. So
I mean, neither have I. So I mean, that kind of makes sense as to why we would all have the same haircut. But yeah, I never noticed it until now. We all kind of have the same version of it.
And also by our lesser co-host.
Apparently, I don't bring anything, but I'm still here. So
look,
he brings the crickets.
He brings the crickets.
Who's
eventually going to replace him? So,
and I am your funnier person host, Jacob, or they call me JJ. It just depends.
Oh,
let's see.
What a good joke.
I have a
really landed.
I have a follow up from one of last week's. No, I guess 2 weeks ago. Since last week was the flights to nowhere. An Australian airline sold out in 10 minutes.
Oh dang.
Sold out a flight to nowhere, a 7-hour flight to nowhere, sold out.
7 hours.
Booked.
That's a
7 hours in the air. It is
just to fly around and then land in the same spot. That's way too much.
That's like enough time to get like cramped up there, and then. But I guess the coming
that's
off
the
plane
feeling,
is the feeling. Do
you think that they could partner up with like movie theater or like movie distributors and be like, all right, you have to fly them up there 7 hours. You're going to show 2 Universal and 1 Warner Brothers movies, and we get a part of the proceeds to anyone who watches it. Like that's the only way you can watch like what's a movie that has it, like Tenet or Black Widow or Mulan. You have to watch it in the air because the theaters won't open.
I think that's like $1 billion idea right there. So
yeah, I contact me, AMC. Let's see. I was gonna bring the fishbowl and put my topics in the fishbowl, but I didn't feel like walking out to the garage.
It's a little chilly out there, so
you know what? I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. You ready for this, fellas?
All right.
Hey, Alex, why don't you?
Oh, good. Okay.
My God.
So I got this really cool story I found. It's about these toilets in Tokyo.
I'm just kidding, man. No. I'm just kidding. Can we edit that out? Can we edit that part out?
Absolutely
you did it again.
No, I'm not gonna edit that out whatsoever. You're acting like I actually try whenever I edit these videos.
You do a lot more work than either of us have ever done.
Yeah, but that's still like the most minimal amount of work.
Also true.
You were at 0.1. I'm at like 0.1.5.
I say that Alex is at 1.5 and you're at 0.2.
JJ's at 0.0.
You are at 0.0. Yeah. Literally next to nothing.
I'm the bottom of the bell curve. I'm down here.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that Alex is the bottom of the bell curve.
But Alex, how about you go first and make it work?
Okay. So my first story is about an 89-year-old billionaire achieving his goal of going broke after years of secret donations. So I read the story this week about self-made billionaire Chuck Feeney, and he had one life goal: to die broke. He comes from a working-class New Jersey family. He made these shopping centers where you can get tax-free stuff because they're based in airports, and you're taking them overseas anyways. So you can buy them at the place that he sells it, the stores that he sells them at without tax. Apparently, a bunch of fucking money. And so what he did to actually get rid of his money was he secretly set up a foundation and funneled all of his money into it. He's been funneling all of his money into it for the last 38 years, is what it says. And so he's finally broke. So he's achieved his life goal. And I was reading more on him, and apparently he inspired Bill and Melinda Gates to give their $30 billion pledge that they gave recently and stuff. And I was just like, wow, this guy's really, really cool, an actual good billionaire. Those are very rare.
What does his proceeds go to? Like, does he have any specific causes, or is he just all across the map?
Looks more like it's just kind of spread out pretty thin. I think that's because he wanted to keep a low profile. He kind of spread things out thin, because I think if you went too much in one direction, he'd probably give away his.
Yeah, probably just one of those things where it's name a popular charity, and I've probably donated to it.
Well, he probably did it pretty heavy into helping AIDS, and if you are like, oh, it's great,
helping AIDS, not helping to end
exactly,
AIDS. Helping
to end AIDS. It's actually to help AIDS continue to grow strong.
Okay, I actually found the list of where he's given. Well, but more than $3.7 billion to higher education institutions, including $1 billion to Cornell. And then he donated $870 million to a human rights group, including campaigning to ending the death penalty in the U.S., and then $76 million to grassroots campaigns supporting the passage of Obamacare. So those are the main three places where his money went. And I'm assuming he probably did spread some more out otherwise, but those are the main places.
Strange. Because those don't seem like the type of things that you would be doing, and when you if you're legitimately trying to help, I don't feel like those are the biggest things that you would be donating that amount of money to.
Well, it said he studied at Cornell, and that was the reason he did that there.
That one I kind of get. That's just an alumni thing. That is fine.
And it said he wanted to end the death penalty, so that's another thing that he kind of focused on.
That one was probably just more personal than it was.
Didn't want to die.
But I also I could see the Obamacare one, because in on paper it seems a lot more useful than it was in practice.
Yeah.
Well, when you imagine somebody giving money, you imagine that it's to fight cancer, to fight inequality, to fight like there's a bunch of different things that it's about, and I just don't imagine that donating to Cornell, donating to end the death penalty, and then donating to Obamacare would be even close to my top three. No,
mine would be anything that focused on a child hospital or extended child care stay. I would just be funneling all my money to like St. Jude's, great places like that, where it's the kids are taken care of, the families are taken care of, and stuff like that. That's what I donate to now, but I'm not a billionaire.
Well, maybe he knows.
I'm getting close though. I'm getting pretty close. I got some things on the horizon that might pan out.
I'm probably $999 million away from being there. So that's pretty good.
Pretty close. Maybe his reason for not doing any of those things though was because they're so common and so normalized that he wanted to do some stuff that people wouldn't think about otherwise.
Something that without his contributions would have struggled to get off the ground, but he donated so much money.
I think Cornell's doing fine.
Well, I'm not talking about the Cornell. I'm talking more about the
I would have been like, yeah, like I get donating to your alma mater if that's the type of stuff. But I think if I'm going to donate to an institution of education, I'd be like helping inner city schools or just public schools
They
in
need
America,
help.
so that like the teachers that get paid like $29,000 a year don't have to buy their own fucking pencils and shit.
I don't think that I would do that because to me, for one, I don't like the current education system whatsoever. Like it needs to heavy reform, and so I would.
Delvin thinks the kids are too smart.
Yeah, that's the
Delvin wants dumber kids.
Yeah, ideally, please. All right, I figured that one. Okay, cool. That'll come across.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Was it a cricket?
Oh, I hit my USB drive and it popped back up and
Is that slang for anything or?
Yeah, it's a sexual thing. It's where you take the tip of your dick and you flip it inside out, and then you stick something inside of there and then flip it back.
See, when you talk about trying to get advertisers and then you say stuff like that, do you realize that you're your own worst enemy, or are you just like totally oblivious?
They'll come when they come. So what?
I guess.
God.
But anyways, when donating, I just don't think I would do inner city schools until there's reform.
Kids.
No, until there's reform for the educational system because it's so broken.
Would you help perform it with your money, or would you just be you know what, you call me when it's better?
No. I would probably spend most of my money trying to reform it so that it actually, teaches kids true life skills that need to be taught.
You mean I don't need to know trig?
No,
taxes.
No, but you know what? Taxes would be nice for people to know about. How to balance a check is something that maybe would help.
Those are old school
anymore. No, but I mean, like even balancing your finances would be a really smart idea for people to learn how to do.
What's a good interest rate?
Yeah. When I'm buying a car, am I getting screwed with an 8.4 interest rate?
Turns out it's always yes.
Okay. Oh shit.
Well, for one, you should never buy a car using a loan. Don't do that.
No, we're not talking about this because you're wrong. Anyway, we're moving on.
No, I'm not.
Delvin, how about you go next? We're going in reverse
order. Okay. Either way, so I'm in the middle. I got you.
You should have held up an over reverse card at the start of the episode.
God, that is
Christ.
Why do we think
cut everything? We're gonna restart now.
You could have warned me, right? And I could have came up with that beforehand, but that's okay.
All right. So man shoots 3 times, twice with a gun, and once another way. Any guesses as to what he did?
I worry it's a sexual thing.
It is most certainly a sexual thing.
Oh no!
I went a long time without doing sexual topics, and now I'm done. We're back on it. 59-year-old man Milo Johnson shoots his 30-year-old doctor after he ejaculates during a prostate exam.
Oh shit! I heard about that. Yeah.
Yes. So Harold Smith Jr. was the doctor performing the prostate exam when all of a sudden Milo turned around with a gun and told the doctor to apologize. He then realized what had happened and then tried to talk to him rationally. Milo wasn't having any of it, and so he shot the doctor twice before fleeing the office. He's still running and is yet to be found.
I'm picturing so I'm picturing a man who's kind of closeted and he expected this to be the outcome. Because in this situation, your pants are around your ankles. Okay. That means if you were holstering a weapon, it's probably not readily available when some man's finger deep in your behind. Now, that means he probably unholstered that weapon expecting this to be the outcome. And then when it happened, he turned around to protect that fragile masculinity that he clearly has because he thinks that he's gay now, which is not at all the truth. He could just be into that. Now, he had this was totally premeditated. It had to be. He had to have been why?
Yeah, why was it premeditated?
Because the thing I just fucking said. Because Alex, do you get where I'm coming from, or did I just explain that like a dumbass? In my head, the pants are around his ankles, so he already had his gun unholstered and hidden, and so he was expecting this to be the outcome. He was expecting to ejaculate from this procedure, and so then he pulled the gun around.
I'm going to say, first and foremost, this is in Florida, so you can imagine the craziness that's happening right now.
Of course it is. God damn it.
Now, I think the way that it goes down is, okay, Guy's been over a table, finger up his ass. He ejaculates, pulls the finger out. The doctor then turns around. The guy realizes what happened. Obviously, he's the one that ejaculated. Reaches down, grabs his gun, pulls it out, yells at the guy, fucking apologize. And then the doctor just goes, whoa, 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 whoa. What just happened? Why is there a bunch of white stuff all over my table? And then you go, oh, connect the dots. And then that's whenever, because he also told the guy to say a really weird phrase that the doctor didn't understand. And so the doctor just
What was
do
the
it.
phrase? Do you have it written down?
I think I do. Hold on.
Was it like in tongues or something?
No,
Like
I mean, I think it's like a newer phrase that. No, I just wrote down, told the doctor to apologize.
Told a phrase.
Yeah, there's a weird phrase that happened with it. And the doctor just goes, I didn't know what he was talking about, so I just didn't say the phrase.
Oh, did the doctor not die?
No, the doctor lived. He didn't shoot
God.
and kill him. But his girlfriend was just like, well, we know the guy, and this isn't surprising that this happened. He's always been a homophobe, and so the fact that he's having this reaction is not surprising one bit.
He
now he
is
just didn't know
closeted.
that there was a gun.
I'm trying to look this up. This happened once before in 2017. This is almost a copy of the story you're telling me. Because you're referring to one that happened this summer. I'm seeing that article as well. Yes, happened again in 2017 with a completely different person.
Okay.
So men are just shooting doctors.
Well, you know what? When you're terrified of being a homosexual, you're probably going to do that. Now, it's irrational and really dumb to think that, because for one, just because you get a finger stuck up your ass and you come does not mean that you're gay. You just like butt stuff. I mean, that's
for all you little boys out there that are listening to this. First of all, turn it off.
Yeah. Who directed you here? Who gave you?
Oh my God, this is hilarious. Apparently, the man called his 29-year-old girlfriend and said "Hasta la vista," and she's never heard from him again. Hasn't heard from him since.
Yeah. No, it's a crazy story. Although it's such a Florida man story, it really is.
I actually heard something about that. Some dude kind of did like a little talk on TikTok going, everyone thinks that us in Florida are so crazy because of all the news stories that comes out. And he's like, that is accurate. But the reason that you see more crazy Florida man news stories is because there's a state law in Florida that makes public information like so much more available, like readily available. So like all these crazy news stories that come out get declassified, or like all the police records get declassified and then become news stories, where in other states, that information isn't as accessible. And so he's like, it's actually like a really good thing that we have such clear access to public records. It's just everyone uses it to look up the crazy shit that happens here.
I guess I can see the benefit to it because of the fact that it's like, well, it's kind of promoting coming down, because at that point it's like, well, I got to go down there to see what the hell's going on.
And it's because it's not just only police records. It's all sorts of information is readily available from the government of Florida. But most people just go after the police records because it's just crazy as shit. Now, I think that there is a part of it that is heightened because there's a lot more of a drug problem in Florida than there is in other states. But yeah, that's why you see so many crazy Florida man stories.
At the same time, though, I kind of think that guy might just be the type of guy that's like, no, it's actually a good thing that my dick's curved up to where I piss on my face. So where it's like, no way is that a good thing, but you're trying to make it a good thing. Sure.
It's just like your
Why is that your analogy?
I don't know.
Do you have these thoughts? Because this is so out there.
I do.
No, it's a good thing I stepped on this nail. No, it's a good thing I can piss on my face. What? I guess, man.
Look, it worked. Was it a weird analogy? Yes, but it worked.
No, it worked. I'll give you that completely.
Yes.
Did it get my point across? Yes. That's the point.
Now, what if the guy, instead of pulling out a gun, pulled out a reverse Uno card and was like, your turn?
Oh, God. Could you imagine? What would your reaction be if you were in that scenario where you just had a finger stuck up your ass and then all of a sudden you ejaculate?
So there is a Reddit post from a couple years ago where this dude finds that out about himself. And the reason that the post is so humorous is because, okay, so it's a dark-ish story where he goes to the doctor and he ejaculates during a rectal exam or whatever. and he discovers this whole side of himself where he's like, I'm not gay, because he's like, I wish I was gay because this would be a lot easier. But I found that I really enjoy that part of my sexuality and like that part of sex. And he's really into pegging, but his girlfriend won't do it. And he's afraid to admit it to her that that's like, because he brought it up before as like half joking. And she was like, nah, I wouldn't be into it. And now he's like, sex just isn't as good without it. So he's like, I try and have sex with my girlfriend and it's just not as pleasurable. But when she leaves, he said it started out with, he went to, and the way that he writes it is just so funny. He goes and gets drumsticks after the doctor's appointment. He takes a public bus to a band shop, buys drumsticks. And he felt like he's talking about the shame because he felt like everyone knew why he was buying those drumsticks. But it's like, they probably just thought you were a drummer.
Yeah,
and he uses those to get off. And he's like, a year and a half later, I'm buying a giant 12-inch dildo off of Amazon and hiding it from my girlfriend because of the shame, because she won't use it on me. And so that's just how he gets off now. Yeah, he says it's like a big thing, like, and that he really enjoys that in sex. And it's like, he's super sad about it. And I feel like people's tendencies would be to go down that path of just hide it to yourself. But I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice, because originally you're going to end up at the ending where you're talking to your girlfriend about it. He's eventually going to talk to his girlfriend. Listen, here's the reality of the situation. Get it out of the way as soon as possible. Just go to her and be like, let's see if we can move on. Let's see if this is something we could both be into. No, you wouldn't do that
the best you can.
No, why?
No. I would talk. I'm just saying that if I'm that guy and she's really not into it, and you brought it up one time, you just hide it.
Okay, that guy, maybe. Well, I feel like that guy, you need to talk to her and be like, listen, this relationship's probably not going to work out. But I feel
all over the square inch of this house, though, when you leave.
Because one day he's going to be on a business trip and she's going to be like, she drops something and it's going to roll under the bed. She's going to be like, what's this shoebox? Oh my God.
You start drumming.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
I've never heard it at all.
That's great, man. You're going to be like Ringo.
When you were in the bathroom, I just thought it was weird. Like,
now he's panic buying. He's panic buying like electric drum sets off Amazon overnight shipping, just so he could be like, yeah, here it is. It's been in the garage. I've been practicing. And she's like, da, 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 da.
And he's like, I've spent $800 on this secret. It's literally causing me so much angst and wear on my finances.
At that point, would it be more embarrassing to be shit at the drums, or to like the drumsticks tuck up your ass?
At this point, you think he ditched the drumsticks if he's upgraded to 12-inch dildo? You think he's sticking around with those drumsticks?
You keep them for a keepsake. Where you start.
Like baby shoes and your shoes now? Like, look where I started. Like, those are the drumsticks that I started out with.
You get those gold plated. And then the guy that's gold plating it goes, wow, these smell.
Hey, what's up with these? What's up with this shadow box of drumsticks on your wall? Like, is that like, are those from like a concert you went to? It's like, no, I used to shove those up my ass.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question. What would happen for you? Like in that scenario,
I'd go to my wife.
Like, I want your reaction with the doctor.
I would like to apologize to you, sir. I've seemed to have made a mess. Do you have, while we're on the topic, do you have any pamphlets about what just happened to us? I assume that he's going to handle it in a professional manner because he's a doctor. And I'm sure he'd be like, just wipe. He's either going to be like, it's totally cool, or he'd be like, wipe it up. I'll be right back. And he just leaves the room for 5 minutes. But anyway, I'd be like, do you have any like pamphlets or any like reading that I could do about this? And then I feel like I'd go home to my wife and be like, listen, something we got to talk about. Do you remember when I used to drum in junior high?
Can you find those drumsticks?
Yeah.
Alex, what about you? What would you do?
He pulls out a gun.
Extreme guy that pulls out gun.
Because you know me, I love my guns. I'd probably just be really fucking embarrassed and then offer to clean it up and then just never look the doctor in the eyes again, because I know it wouldn't.
You call the next day. You call the next day and you're like, hey, I need you to send my papers over to this doctor. And they're like, why? And he's like, I got a new primary care physician. Like, he totally sent it to, and he's like, I totally switched. He's like, I got new insurance too. I can't have that shit be on record.
Come back in. I'm wearing those 2008 Kanye shades where you just can't make eye contact with people. Yeah.
I turned to the doctor, like I'm still bent over the table. I look back at him and I go, "Can you smoke in here?"
Delvin the next day drops off a thank you card and like a $25 Applebee's gift card to the doctor.
This is his fourth
And he's
practical
like-
exam this week. What's going on?
Dude's really concerned that the guy's really concerned that he has cancer. I totally understand. Apparently his dad died from it, knowing very well that your dad's still alive, but you told all the doctors and nurses that he's dead from rectal cancer.
Then I start telling him, you could try to stick maybe 2 or 3 up there.
Did you guys hear all that barking?
No.
Thank God. This mic's good.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Is
But
it
yeah,
a
no,
microphone?
I tell him that he could try to stick maybe 2 or 3 up there.
Well, you'd give the doctor advice being like, I just don't think you're getting deep enough, doc.
Well, you're not doing it for me. Either you do it or find me a doctor that can.
And he just gives you like a profile to like Hinge or Grinder, and he goes like, "Here, I think this might be up your alley."
Well, I'm not gay. I just like
No one's saying you are. It's just clearly you have an agenda here, and I've got other patients.
Just wasting everybody else's
I'm
time.
perfectly fine with you coming in here. I get $400 a pop every time you do, but I'm starting to feel a little dirty.
Probably more than that.
I'm starting to feel more
your
like a
copay doesn't-
prostitute than a doctor.
Yeah, your insurance isn't covering that copay anymore, man. It's starting to get pretty expensive on your behalf.
We might be dragging
man.
out on.
Yeah, let's move on.
I don't think we talked about Buttstuff for long enough.
Alex, pick my next topic. I got Return to Cinder, Hog Wild, or License to Kill.
Let's go Return to Sender.
Wait. Hold on.
All right.
The last time that Mind Grenade was on the last podcast, they talked about doing a study about doing butt stuff. Jason, if you're listening, please send me over that podcast about Ian, or was it was either Matt or Ian talking to them about doing butt stuff. Please send that over because I'm going to be interested in listening to that. Please.
Do you know what his doctorate's in? Because they all have doctorates.
No, I have no clue, but I do want to ask.
Yeah.
So,
do you think it's a medical or is it like art history?
couldn't begin to tell you.
All right. So Return to Cinder, a Thai national. I want to see where you guys land on this. Thailand National Park authorities in the popular. Hope I don't butcher this. I'm sorry. Khao Yai National Park near Bangkok start to sending rubbish back to litterers. And the Thailand environmental minister says. So basically, if you go to the national park, which is the biggest national park, it's 770 square miles or 2,000 square kilometers. You have to register basically to get in there. You basically go, here's my name, phone number, address. And if you go camping there or they find any litter along where you went, they box it up and send it to your house.
Okay.
This is a way. Oh, they also register you with the police, and you face an offense of littering charges on national park land. And so basically, you give them your address as a way to like track down. Oh, this guy rented this plot of land. There's a bunch of trash left over. Send it to his house, and they've already started doing it. They've already started boxing up like bottles, chip bags, plastic, like just wrappers that were left behind and stuff, and sending it back to people's houses. I think it's a good idea because it deters people and punishes people, but that's probably using a lot of government money just to send parcels of trash back to people's houses.
I was gonna say, how much do you think this?
Unless they fine people as well. So basically, if it costs $20 to send this box of junk, you get registered with the police and you have to pay a fine of like $30. So that way they make some sort of profit off of sending you garbage.
Also, do you think it's stopping anything? I mean.
No, I don't think it's stopping anything. I think more people are just getting trashed into their house. I doubt anybody's going to be like, I really want to throw this wrapper on the ground, but I don't want it to be in my mail next week. Because what do you think they're going to do with that mail? Just going to toss it to the side.
Yeah.
Not open it.
I feel like it's like a really shitty way to go at the problem. It's like, oh yeah, we're just going to pick all this up and we're not just going to throw it away. No. We're going to
feel like
the mail system, spend more money, and then they will hopefully get rid of it.
I feel like this is also the oldest national park in Thailand, by the way, known for its waterfalls, animals, and scenery. And they say that the littering has become a problem with the wildlife. Okay. I feel like them putting this out in the news is basically trying to deter people from it. And also that criminal charge is what's going to get people. The trash in the mail was a gimmick to get it in the news, and the criminal charge is really what's supposed to deter people.
Okay.
Well, what kind of offense are you actually facing if you do it?
I didn't really go. The article I read didn't really go that much into detail, and also I don't really know much about the Thailand justice system, so I don't really know that if a littering charge is something that's like
penalty.
big or
8
not.
flaggings.
Yeah, 40 lashes. So I don't know that, but I feel like it's probably something. It's probably a fine.
You guys
and something on record.
think
Yeah.
I feel like if you have enough national park littering charges, they're gonna be like, dude, that's 5 months in jail. 10 charges of littering on a national park. There's trash cans.
Yeah, just throw away your shit, Jerry.
Throw it away. You're going to
you
jail.
guys think if we had more public forms of insulting people who did bad stuff, like you remember the stuff like from the shows where they had to stick their head in their hands through the stuff and had to stand outside?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not-
No.
no.
That's a step too far, man.
No, yeah.
Just talk, yeah.
Okay.
The ones where it's like public ridicule, where people.
And you get tomatoes
Do you
thrown at
think
you.
there would actually be like less crimes committed because people would be more worried about public ridicule than they would be about going to prison?
No, I think you bring
Have
back
you
that
seen-
guillotine. That stops shit.
Yeah, dude, the French Revolution had it right. Do you know the last time that someone was publicly guillotined was in like 1950?
That's
No shit. Where?
Yeah, it was like I believe France, if I might be mistaken. But yeah, like the last time it was used was like in the 20th century. Like people were getting guillotined and like televised.
Did you learn that with your history degree?
No, I learned that on Reddit a couple days ago.
So
So
you're telling me the Reddit is as good as a history degree. I got you.
pretty much, if you subscribe to the right subreddit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's cheaper for sure.
No.
Oh, well, as we talked about on the Nuggets of Nothing podcast, I'm also one class away from having a minor in art. And I didn't do it because I was like, it just feels like it would be like a waste of time just to have a major in history and a minor in art. And people be like, where do you work? I work in an office. I do like accounting stuff. I'm an invoicer. So like, well, why'd you major in that? Just for the paper, just for the piece of paper that sits in a bottom shelf. Have you seen the guy that judge that's gone viral? Super fucking old. Hold on. I don't even know what to Google. Judge weird.
He's at Vermont, I believe, isn't he?
You know the
Yeah,
guy I'm talking about, the really
guy
old
you're
dude.
talking about. The guy that's
So
pretty
he's
lenient
super
about-
cool because he's very lenient on guys like who have like this one old man. He was like 97 years old and got a traffic ticket, and he was like maybe gonna lose his license, and he went to court. And the guy was like, "So you're 97 years old. Why were you driving?" He's like, "My son, like my boy's got cancer, and I was taking him to get blood work done." And they were like, "Well, how old's your son?" He's like 65, and you're like, "This man is so old that his son is retired." And he's like, the only reason I drive, he's like, I drive twice a month, and it's to take him to get blood work done. And the the judge was just like, yeah, you're fine. You're not going to lose your license, and the ticket's waived. But he also, on the flip side, has had people like with like multiple littering charges, like made them go to like landfills and sort trash for a day. Like he has like creative punishments like that. I feel like if we had more like that instead of just like $500 fine and like time served or whatever, you'd be like, nah, no fine, just go like I don't know if you got, but if they made the community service more specific,
if you could
like,
really
you
see
have-
the problem and fix
Yeah.
the thing that you more or less caused the problem for.
I feel like, and if it made news and you'd be like, oh, look at that idiot, she's got to go sort trash. But why? Because she was littering. There might be a positive effect there on the amount of littering crimes that go on. Because it's like, let's see, I could put this Kit Kat bar wrapper in my cup holder, or I could go to a dump 2 days a week for the next 2 months.
But what if you
Sort
really like
plastic
dump?
and paper. Hey man, they might be hiring.
Sure, there's fun stuff to do at the dump.
Dude, the dump's a great
Hey, the
place.
bear
All right?
dump.
Don't knock the dump.
You can go there
Dude,
like
don't
bears.
sleep on the dump, man.
So the Bears.
So yeah, did you say the Bears?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's mine. That's my topic. Alex, what do you got? And is it as fun as trash?
No. I just got a topic from my old roommate. Hopefully you guys haven't gone over this before.
Hey, there we go. We
'cause
have
I've-
somebody emailing stuff in.
because I still haven't caught up yet. But there's the Florida governor proposed a Bill of Rights for college students to party. Apparently,
You got to fight for the right to party. Or to
what they say.
party.
basically,
Yeah.
so he wants to sign an executive order that says college students should basically be able to socialize and stuff like it's a normal year. right now in the middle of the pandemic,
Mhm.
because he said it would be just as hurtful for them to stay inside mentally as it would be for them to go outside and get exposed physically. Was basically his wording about it. So yeah, it's
All right, JJ, so you're
Wrong.
telling me that these people down there that are just proposing this, the Bill of Right to Party,
mhm.
are the same people that are like, yeah, that much crazy shit doesn't really happen down here. You just hear about it more. No, they have too much crazy shit going on down there. This dude's just trying to cover it up. He's trying not to piss on his face.
True. I think he's just trying to like appease the students that are going there basically.
It is an election year. Maybe he's maybe he's got an agenda.
It's just like at this point, you know, what 200,000 people died in the US, just go fucking party at this point. I don't care anymore.
I mean, are we really losing the future minds of America if you just can't go to a frat party? Are we losing the next Supreme Court justice?
What if you are?
I don't
What
think any of these guys at this party is going to help cure like AIDS or anything. I think they're just going to be like business majors and communication majors that end up working for a used car
No,
lot.
look, George Bush partied his ass off, and he
Which one, H or W?
W.
Okay, and he started a war that lasted so long
But
that people are fighting in the war that were not born when the war started.
Yeah, but he was president, and he fucking partied all the time. All the time.
I'm sure Bill Clinton partied.
I'm positive.
Yeah,
Party.
he got it. Someone's saying that he lost his job because of it. Dude, have you seen a picture of Monica Lewinsky in the 90s?
No, I'm gonna Google it.
Smoke show,
Yeah, no,
dude.
I get
Absolute smoke show. Totally get why it happened.
I'm telling you,
man.
that's why he was my favorite president.
I showed Ariana and she was like, "Oh, that's the girl," and I was like, "Yeah, that's Monica Lewinsky." And she was like, "Nah."
She is so cool about all of it happening to her. I mean, she was upset at first, but now she's starting to get to that point where she's cool with it.
She did make a joke tweet about it the other day.
Yeah, but she makes a joke tweet about it like all the time.
I feel like you have to own it at that point, like because she's been mentioned in every pop culture reference there is, in songs and like
damn near
yeah,
like damn near 25 years or something like that. 30 years. She's fine.
You give the president in the Oval Office. I mean, what's there to be ashamed of?
Yeah, I don't remember what show it was on, but there was a show that she was on that she explained. She was like, yeah, I had somebody tweet the other day, who's this Monica Lewinsky bitch? And she just goes, I'm that chick that is in 274 different rap songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
hey, one of my Monica Lewinsky by St. John. That song's amazing. I love that. That's such a good vibe.
Is it about getting head or giving head?
No, it's actually a love song.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, Ghetto Lenny's. What is it? Ghetto Lenny's love songs or something like that's the album. But St. John, Monica Lewinsky. Give it a listen if you like rap and R&B vibes.
yeah, that is a good song. I actually know the song.
But do you think that her punishment should have been like, I don't know, working in like a
where are you going with this?
like a Planned Parenthood, like a sex related, like she has to do community service in like a Planned Parenthood.
Well,
no, she
I'd say, hold on, what did
did
she really do? She didn't do anything besides.
No, the president faced criminal charges. That's right.
He should have been the one to have to do that.
To work at the Planned Parenthood. Yeah.
Maybe just.
That'd be hilarious.
Although
Could
he
you
would
imagine
have
if
been
you
hitting on everybody there.
Planned Parenthood, but you're just there to like get like a free like breast exam or something, and he's just like, "How can I help you?"
Yeah, he's just like, "I know you fuck."
You hear this smooth jazz? I'm actually playing the sax.
Me and Kenny G, we tight.
Kenny G didn't play the saxophone.
No, he didn't. He plays the clarinet, I think.
Really?
Yeah, you might want to fact check me on that one, but I think so.
Kenny G instrument.
Is he? Okay.
All
right. Yeah, I guess he does. Well, you know what? That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Alto, soprano, tenor, and flute.
He probably plays basically like a lot of the woodwind instruments, because I think I don't want to say once you play one, you play them all, because I'm sure that's wrong. But
I'm used to seeing him with a soprano saxophone, which is not your typical tenor or alto saxophone. That's more of a straight instrument than it doesn't have the curve
Jacob,
in it.
nobody knows what you're talking about.
I don't, dude. You guys weren't in band?
No, were you?
I played the trumpet.
Yeah.
Did you play the drums?
I played the drums and the trumpet.
Drums.
He was shoving shit up his ass. I got you.
That's not true. That's not true.
Slander.
you hit us with a hot topic.
Yeah. All right. How about this? Polly wants a motherfucking cracker.
I saw the headline to this topic, and I'm very excited about it. We haven't had a bird topic in so long.
We haven't had a bird topic. It's
Damn dog is so persistent.
Long. Yeah, he is. Look at him. He's right there. So
go ahead.
So yeah, there were 5 parrots that were removed from a UK wildlife sanctuary after they continuously cursed at guests. So there's a quote in the article where the venue's executive, Steve Nichols, told reporters that every time that he would walk by the birds, he'd be called a fat twat. And so I just imagine this guy, he's walking by and the bird just goes fat twat, and then he just looks down and he goes, "Tonight's the night you kill yourself, Gary."
That's exactly what I heard when I walked past the lunchroom in my high school.
Yeah, fat twat.
Yeah,
I don't know that we called you twat, but yeah, all right.
You didn't spill your milk.
You admit that you were involved in the bullying.
Of course. But yeah, so I guess a lot of the common phrases is "fuck off," because that's a very common phrase for them to be saying, and they had to separate them because at first all the guests they thought it was really funny. They were just like, "Oh, this is great," and then they were like, "Well, what about the kids? Because the kids are hearing all of this, and that's a problem."
I was gonna say you're gonna catch one bad mom with a group of kids.
You're gonna catch a Karen.
One Karen.
Karen. And
like, have you ever seen the stories of women at zoos? I'm sure men have done it too, but this is the stories I've heard of women at zoos, and like the animals are either having sex or have erections, and they're like, take care of that, like to the zookeepers and stuff, and you're like, what do you want them to do? Like,
just goes out there and goes.
like you have to be sensible. These are still animals, like wild animals, just in captivity. So like, I'm not going to be able to just sedate a zebra from the hours of like the operational hours of the zoo.
It's bad enough that they have to be in cages their whole life. Let them get off every once in a while, you know.
Let them just fuck around a little bit, all right?
We're trying to solve the endangerment and extinction population. So I mean, just let them handle it, and we'll figure out what to do next. Okay?
Could you imagine that there's 2 pandas about ready to fuck? And then all of a sudden, this mom comes in and goes, they shouldn't be doing that. And the guy goes, you got to realize that this doesn't happen very often. So we're just
there's like 60 of these things left in China. So we're really trying to help out any way we can. So you're just going to let
Or you
it
just
be.
say, I should have said the same thing to your parents.
You start saying, you better start singing some Marvin Gaye or you get the fuck out of here.
It's going to be like the scene or like the episode of Parks and Rec where they accidentally marry 2 male penguins and they're like, oh, it's not that big a deal. But like a bunch of Christian groups come out and they go like, no, that can't be. And you're like, it's a penguin marriage. Like, let it be, man.
Yeah.
Who really cares? It doesn't matter. But yeah, so a lot of it is that, and they said that this is actually a pretty common thing with the types of birds that they brought in. I think it's the African white parrot that is pretty common to be a pet bird, and I guess a lot of people just teach their birds to curse, and then with the common phrase being "fuck off." Now that they all know "fat twat," that one is surprising to me.
That's specific.
That seems like that would be a very specific one. But if they all knew "fat twat," and then could you imagine having 5 birds just saying "fat twat" at you at the same time as you walk by?
You go home and your wife says the same thing, like, "Oh, you forgot that again, you fat twat." You're like, "Oh my god!" At home,
at that point, do you is that the thing that drives you to lose a bunch of weight? Just be like, these fucking birds up.
No, I just feel like for me, I'd be like, the car's broken. I'm taking like public transportation to work, just so you have like an extra hour and a half commute, just so you don't have to deal with it anymore. You're like just silence in the bus.
Yeah, that's and so they separated them, and they're hoping that eventually they learn to be a little bit more mindful of their words that they say.
They will.
But once they learn a thing, I feel like they're just going to continuously say that thing. You know what? You just got to.
It's like toddlers.
You just got to teach them new words like hello and taxes.
There's like, when it comes to like the intelligence of these birds that are able to like mimic human speech and stuff like that, and like actually like some of them can get up to like a pretty frightening level of intelligence, like nothing too smart, like they're not doing algebra or anything, but like the intelligence of like a toddler when you see that in a wild animal is kind of frightening to like us when you're not used to anything like that. I mean, and they can learn like a vocabulary of like, I don't know, like 250 words or something like that. Like these things can string together sentences and like not really know what it means, but expect a certain reaction. It gets, I don't know, to me, that's weird watching life that isn't humans exhibit like intellect. Like whenever you see like a gorilla do sign language, always gives me the heebie-jeebies.
No, I'm all about it, man.
But
I mean, no, it's amazing to see the communication like that and crossing those lines. But I feel like if I was alive when the first gorilla learned sign language and was able to communicate with a human, I'd be like, nah, none of that.
Yeah, you just pull out your gun and
none of that Planets of the Apes
they
bullshit.
go, "Oh my god, Harambe!" And
I don't like watching evolution in front of my eyes. It's creepy.
Evolution doesn't exist.
Shit,
God.
dude.
What a creationist. So yeah, I kind of want one of those birds. I won't lie. And I just want it to exclusively call me a fat twat.
It would be hilarious for the first couple of days, and then you just be like, I'm so tired of this. And these things live to be like 90. These things live to be like so old. It'd be like if you bought one of my coworkers' girlfriends has a kid, and the kid wanted a pet turtle for its birthday, and so the mom was like, you know what, hell yeah, I'm gonna get you a pet turtle. Had no idea what she was buying, just bought one. Turtle shows up. Turns out she's doing some reading on it. Turtle grows to be like 200 pounds and lives for like 150 years. And you're like, you just accidentally made such a big commitment in the lives of both you, your child, and your grandchildren. I feel like at some point you're like, I'm donating this to a zoo.
A turtle or a tortoise?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know the difference.
Well,
the ones that get big. What I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that turtles are like aquatic and tortoises are not.
I don't think turtles live as long either.
No, but tortoises live for a long fucking.
I was typing in, do turtles get big? And the first thing that came up is, do turtles get lonely? So I'm kind of sad now.
Yeah, I know I get lonely, so I'm sure the turtles do.
Do tortoises get big? Yeah, I'm not really sure which one it is. I'd have to text them and be like, yo, what did you
big? I think tortoises get pretty big. I mean, other than they're snapping turtles, so
yeah, they get big, but they don't. Well, I mean, they do probably get as big as like some smaller tortoises.
Okay, I'm looking at a picture and I believe that she bought a tortoise.
Okay, so you're stupid. Got it.
That seems.
It doesn't matter. She bought a big ass tortoise that lives for longer than she will live.
I can't see the fun in that because they're so slow. What are you gonna do with them?
Play fetch.
Keep them in the backyard.
You get 2 rounds of fetch in before you go, I'm done with this shit.
And before he's like, stop making me go back and forth in this yard.
I mean, it's just like planting a tree. Basically, you're planting something or growing something. That's
but you don't really have to. You plant it at the right stage, and you really don't have to take care of it. It just exists. You now have a living being that you have to take care of, and you have a lineage that's going in your will. Someone has to take care of that freaking tortoise.
I'm sure all it leads is basically like maybe like a couple heads of lettuce a day. Like that's not bad.
I mean,
God dang,
okay, that's still not really the point, though.
It's not that much maintenance compared to like.
Well, in this climate, this is a temperate climate. You got to do something with it in the winter.
But what's the fun in it? That's my question. What you can't. Okay, you play fetch with it, but like a little bit, and then
sometimes you just look at it and smile though, and say that's mine.
Look at that tortoise in the backyard just going to town on the grass, I guess.
Oh no, he's gonna get away. Not quickly.
I threw some kiwis back there, and
you actually leave him out all night, and he's like.
Hold on, I think you do leave him out all night.
Oh, they don't sleep at the edge of your bed?
I don't
know
who I was talking to, but we were having the conversation, and I was like, "Man, you're slow as a turtle." And they go, "Wait, turtles are slow?" And I go, "Yeah, they're like that's the thing they're known for." I was like, "When you look at a throttle on a lawnmower, like a fucking rabbit, and then there's a turtle."
This guy totally misunderstood the story of the tortoise and the hare. Like he was just like, "Oh, but he beat the hare. They're quick, right?"
What are you
like? No, man.
I mean,
dude, you totally missed the
technically
point.
A tortoise and the turtle aren't the same thing. So,
oh my god.
We got Alex over here being the fun police.
Shell boys. That's what
I'm
we're
sorry for
calling
wanting to
them.
get stories right in a news podcast.
No, see, your haircut, Alex, is like a turtle, and Delvin's haircut is like a tortoise.
So
They're almost the same with slight differentiations.
Okay.
If you have to explain the joke, it's a good joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how comedy works. Every time I go to a stand-up comedy show, I clap and I go, "What's that mean?"
And after the third joke, they usually kick him out.
Can you repeat that?
And then they just go, "Who keeps letting this fucking guy in? He comes
I
every
pay.
week."
He comes back in with like the fake nose and mustache.
Yeah, big Groucho Marx glasses and mustache.
Howdy, boys.
I guess I'll tell a topic. License to Kill. This is okay. So this is a little bit old, but I just found out about it. And I guess it's technically still in the making because of her sentencing. A Michigan woman wanted to hire a hitman to kill her ex-husband. So how do you do that? Well, of course, you go to www.rentahitman.com.
Or you call Carol Baskins and find out how she did it.
Tigers.
Yeah, just give
Tiger King. Yeah, give freedom to the Tigers.
him Tiger.
You probably should say sardine oil on him. That'll get him
Something like that. So she went to this website, rentahitman.com. This is obviously a fake website. It's meant to be satirical. It looks pretty professional. It looks like someone bought a template website, but put in a lot of time on the template website to make it look good. Put in fake reviews, 5-star reviews. Like Sandra B says, made a quick, clean, easy job out of it. Totally got my money's worth, 5 stars. And so she went there, contacted them, and they were like, "Uh-oh." So contacted what state? Did I tell you what state this was in?
Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I did. Yeah. Okay. Michigan State Police. So Michigan State Police were like, "We'll take it from here," and opened a line of communication with her, posing as a hitman, all the way to the point that she met this fake hitman in a parking lot in Michigan, where she fronted him $5,000 to provide. That was payment and also upfront payment for travel expenses and stay. So she was like, "Don't worry, I got your hotel room." Because he lived out of state. So she was like, "Here's money for gas, hotel room, 1 meal, $5,000 to kill him." And they arrested her and charged her with all that shit, paying to kill somebody. Now, this website has been used to catch 130 would-be murders. Because over 130 people have went to this website going like, perfect, absolutely what I'm looking for. Rentahitman.com.
How did you guys know this is what I needed?
What'd you both say?
It's like they hear the dark web and they're like, "Oh, if I go to rentahitman.com."
I opened up incognito mode. That's what the dark web is, right?
See, what they should have done was get some E. coli.
Yeah, or Ebola.
Or Ebola.
So she's being possibly put in for life. They're seeking a very heavy sentence on her in Michigan, which of course.
Who was she trying to kill again?
Her ex-husband.
Any reason why?
She cited him as every single problem that she has in her life is because of him. Even though they're divorced years ago and he lives out of state, every single problem she still has. She sounds like she's still pissy about it, honestly.
Man, what are you going to do?
What do you got to do? Hey, can't live with him, can't rent a hitman to kill him.
Well, not that way.
You can try, but it's not going to do anything for you, except for a lifetime in prison.
I'm trying to remember if this was a plot to a movie. I'm pretty sure this was a thing that actually happened. No, it was, because I heard about it before, and then I was listening to the Mind Grenade podcast, and they said it. And I was like, yes, that did happen, where a hitman, I think it might have been in Canada or somewhere up north, someone hired a hitman to kill somebody for like a lot of money. That hitman was like, cool, I'll get them, they'll die. Outsourced it to another hitman and gave him the original hit was like $2 million and was like, hey man, how would you like to make like $800,000? And the second hitman was like, lit, don't worry, they'll die. Outsourced it to a third hitman. This went all the way down till 7 hitmen were involved, and the final hitman was going to get paid like $100,000 or somewhere around those lines to kill this guy. And then he got caught. Interrogation led all the way up the chain and got the first person arrested. And it was like, what? Who? It's like that plot from Star Wars where it's like Count Dooku wants wants Padme dead, so Count Dooku gets Boba Fett or Jango Fett, and then Jango Fett hires another bounty hunter, and then the bounty hunter sends a robot, and the robot sends a bug to kill Padme. This person's just like, man, they want him dead Tuesday. I'll take them. I'll get it figured out. And it'll be like, are you sure? Because if you're busy, I can find someone else to kill this chick. No. I get it. I'll get it done. I know somebody who can help us out, and it's gonna be fine. And then that person's just like, oh, I'm also busy Tuesday. It was 4th of July, and they're like, well, we all have family plans. Everyone's got a cookout on the 4th of July, but we'll find someone who can make the job happen.
Do you think there's like a circle of hitmen that go online and pose to be these hitmen just to get the payout and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have my friend and I do it, and they pay their friend, and the friend pays another friend, and it just goes in a circle. It's just an endless loop.
There's a pyramid scheme, Alex, and of that.
Well, no, but those pyramid schemes are good. These aren't.
They only help. There's
no downside to a pyramid scheme.
No.
There's a Sam Rockwell and what's her name? Anna Kendrick movie called Mr. Right, where it's basically this dude who gets paid. He's a hitman, but let's say Delvin was like, I want to kill JJ because he's too funny on the podcast. He steals the spotlight every time.
That's why I would want to kill you. Yeah.
You'd pay him, and he takes the money and turns around and just kills you. And that's the how he kills people. He kills the people who want other people dead.
What if you wanted yourself dead?
That's too cliche.
He kills himself.
You ruined your program. You just go, here's $100,000. I want you to kill me. And he just, that doesn't compute.
Fuck.
That doesn't compute.
You broke the system, man. You broke the chain. Oh my God, the dog. No, don't get.
That's so good. Alex, you have a topic?
Yeah, I guess I have my last one.
Yeah, we'll go on. Your last one.
Okay, so this is from the Japan Times. As a new administrative reform minister, Taro Kono declares war on fax machines.
It's not about toilets?
No, it's not about toilets, unfortunately.
Declares wars on fax machines. Can you explain
why?
He
wants to basically get rid of the low-techness of fax machines because they're still being used very consistently, and he just basically all email and online stuff.
That's true. A lot of people think that is a dead medium, which, by the way, the first fax machine was in the 1800s. I didn't know if you guys know that. The fax machine is old. So first fax machine, 1843. So that's old technology, and it's still used today very prevalently. Everybody thinks that died with everyone's like Xerox, and I haven't heard that name in years. It was like, no, especially in the medical profession, because it's like one of the most secure ways to send patient paperwork. Mm-hmm. And so, how is his war going? Is he fun? Is it like a gun for money sort of situation, like from the 90s, where the Chicago PD were like, bring a pistol and we'll give you $200 for it, and he's just sitting in front of a skyscraper, and he's just what is that? What's that movie where they beat a fax machine with a baseball bat?
Office Space.
Office Space. Is they're just office spacing it? We'll give you $100 to bring your fax machine, and they just donate to a smash room.
No, basically it's just his platform basically, and it hasn't been working really because apparently there's this tradition called Hanko, and it's the sending of faxes and stamps and stuff like that, so it's more professional for them, and they do not want to get rid of it. The environmental people do, but most of the business peoples, they don't want to get rid of it. And I was actually watching a video on Japanese business, and it's really weird because they value professionalism utmost. They go to all their meetings in person before COVID, obviously, but now they have to do most of them online. They hand out business cards at every meeting, but they hand them out from the person in the highest ranking order goes first, and then they go down the chain, and there's a special way to do it where you have to bow twice as you hand them.
Now, do you know what your placement is, or are you just these guys all think they're fucking more important than me? I am so much more important. Doug went first. Doug is not first. All right, let me tell you, Doug is second to last.
Yeah, could you imagine being the guy that's last there, and you just go, well, why am I even fucking here?
Is it a thing where he keeps trying to get a word in edgewise, but everyone keeps and you're just I just want to get my card in. If I could just get my God.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like that, but it's basically they just value respect too much. Basically, they have competitions of holding the elevator door open for each other is something else that they do. Yeah, it's just it's really weird for us here because all our stuff is
We all hate
sort of
each
laid
other.
back, and we hate each other.
But that's really refreshing, honestly. We should try that a little bit more. To be a little,
I feel like there's a good middle point.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's stuff where like it's also generationally where like us. I wore a hoodie to work the other day. My mom was like, "Why are you wearing a hoodie?" It's like, "Because I'm cold. You just want me to shiver at my desk? I put a hoodie on." And to me, that's no big deal. I have seen someone legitimately almost get fired at work because they had a baseball hat on, and I come from a farming family, and so literally one of the Delvin and I work for the same company. One of the higher up guys came and pulled me to the side and had me explain ball caps to him and why some people are so hell bent on like not taking them off indoors. And I'm like, because you don't. It's a relic of the past.
yeah.
It's just like he's like, so you don't take him off? I'm like my dad took off his hat if he had dinner at someone else's house or was in church.
Isn't the answer usually male pattern baldness?
What?
The answer is usually male pattern baldness, isn't it?
Not for like the people in our office. It's just like a big like I don't want to get too specific on what our company does because if we actually said what the company does, you'd be able to find it in one Google search. But it's in the agriculture world, and everyone wears baseball hats. I mean, you meet like other people who are like coming in and they tell you to dress up, and so you're wearing your nicest pair of khakis and stuff, and they come in wearing like some blue jeans with a nice belt buckle. And a baseball cap and stuff like that. And like the baseball cap's not like Cardinals. It's got like the name of a business on it, but it's like still
Because I give those out for free. We have so many at home.
I couldn't tell you. I'm sure if I opened up the door in my dad's office, the only thing that would come out is like tax returns from 1983 and ball caps from like agriculture companies just falling
I have
out.
so many in that thing. And then I think a majority of my shirts are either shirts that are like this, where it's just a blank shirt, or it's a shirt that is like advertising of something, like my Floyd shirt or my Old Navy shirt or something. It was like a promotional item whenever I walked in. I'm like 90% sure that that's the case with my clothes.
For like people in our generation, we all three know you don't wear a ball cap to a job interview, but like, and we have a pretty laid back office. And I legitimately have seen someone get screamed at and almost fired for wearing a ball cap. And it was also 4:59, and he was grabbing his keys to leave. And the guy came, and he just caught him at the bad time. Like literally, he just caught him as he was put on his hat. Didn't wear his hat all day. I sat next to the guy, put on his hat, grabbed his keys. He's like, "Hey man, I'll see you tomorrow." And I'm like, "Yep, dude, take it easy." And he just came in. "What the fuck are you wearing that hat for?" And just reamed him. And I was like, "Oh boy, oh boy,
oh no,
this should be good."
Man.
No, yeah, I think we should definitely try to.
It's ball caps in America and it's fax machines in Japan,
I guess. No, I definitely do think that we could be a little bit more professional in some situations, but I kind of like that we're more.
I think the professionality is something that's going to go down. You know, you have your millennials, Gen Zs. I think the next one's called the Alpha generation, which I feel is cocky for them to be dubbed as. We don't even really know much about them yet. But I feel like by then, you know, I feel like you're not even going to shake someone's hand when you go into, like, in 20 years, you're not going to shake someone's hand when you go into an interview. You're just going to have a nice friendly fist bump. You're going to dab them up and just be like, "So, what's up? What's your credentials?" They're going to like, "What's your credentials?" But they're going to shorten it. Like, "What's your credentials?"
So
I have a pretty sick heel flip.
I actually wore Heelys to this interview. You want to go shred out back?
Dude, hell yeah.
God, eventually that's what this company is going to be. When we go to hire people, we're just going to be like, how cool of a trick can you do on a skateboard?
If you ever wear Heelys, we will hire you on the spot.
I feel like there's a very good middle ground between the laid backness of the American workplace and yet you meet the respect of the Japanese workplace. And I feel like it's coming in with a firm handshake, but you rolled into the room wearing Heelys.
I'm telling you right now that we need to change ourselves moving forward. I expect all three of us to be wearing suits on the next podcast.
I don't own any nice clothes, dude. I don't know what. If someone died tomorrow and I had to go to a funeral, I'd be screwed.
I think I have a couple button ups and some khakis, but you can't even see me from work anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I literally super glued these glasses.
I want a tie, maybe a bow tie.
Well, are you paying for it then, Paul?
One of you can borrow my other suit. Actually, you know what? I've got 3 suits.
It would only fit me, Alex. You're gonna need to wear something.
I've got a smaller one that'll fit you.
I can put some like binder clips in the back to kind of.
shoulder pads from the 90s, so they got those pointy shoulders.
So that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna all be wearing suits on the next podcast. That's what's gonna need to happen.
All right. I think we should start wrapping up. There's a couple of things I wanted to address before Delvin does his outro. That usually takes us around 10 to 15 minutes just for us to leave the podcast. One thing that me and Alex wanted to tell everybody, this is just to our Illinois residents, if you are Illinois and have had a Facebook account registered to an email in Illinois, Google Illinois Facebook lawsuit. There will be a link that you can click and fill out a form because there was a class action lawsuit with Facebook has been stealing people's faces and doing not approved facial recognition softwares on everyone's photos that have been uploaded to Facebook. And you can they say right now the payout's $200 to $400 and the deadline is like November 23rd. So you got some time. And then there's early voting has started in most states. Go ahead and get out there and vote. Please.
I do want to go back to the Facebook thing. I did it. It was super quick.
Oh, it literally takes 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Not even.
And it's probably been advertised on your Facebook because I think part of the lawsuit was that Facebook had to tell you about it. Like they couldn't bury it. So that's how we found out. So go ahead and do that. Go out and vote. Early voting has started by now. There has already been record amounts of voting, which is good. Don't just vote for your presidential election because the Electoral College has made that almost completely worthless, but also vote in state, local. Also fill out your local census because that helps give you guys money for your schools and roads in your local areas. And I like to keep I like local stuff. So if we could go ahead and fill up some potholes, I'd be very I went to the office recently, Delavan, that you guys work at. I work in a different office, but man, your guys' parking lot, I know it's not a public road. Your guys' parking lot is rough right now. What the hell's going on,
It's been
man?
fixed. It's been fixed.
Oh my God. I went there. Dude, it was bad. It was like the Grand Canyon. Ton of holes. But yeah, vote and get your money from Facebook because free money is always fun. Delvin, why don't you go ahead and see us out?
Yeah, we would like if everybody would follow us on Twitter at Can't Sit Still Pod, or you could go to Can't Sit Still Podcast at gmail.com. And then also we have a TikTok that if you want to, although you can't download it anymore for right now, I'm sure it might come back at some point. We are at 2020 Broadcasting. We're going to start recording a lot of, well, I can't say a lot, but we're going to be recording some videos on there. Maybe some comedy skits, a little bit of everything. We're just going to see what kind of comes to mind, and we're going to try to record, maybe keep up with everything, and you guys can kind of see a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff as to what it is that we do on this podcast. And then we would also like if you would come over with to twitch.tv. Hipster Caius is the tag name that you need to be looking for that. We play games with our friend Caius. He's been on the podcast a few times now, and that is how you can go and actually watch us there. It's a good time.
Last week, me and him, we streamed on my phone, and we took a trip to McDonald's that ended up with going to Hardee's and eating a very bad sandwich.
And everybody was upset with you. I was upset with you. So let's see. I think that's pretty much.
Alex also, if you can find Alex's Twitch that he's buried in his social media that he never talks about, he streams often, but tells nobody. If you're a big fan of League of Legends, go search the web for Alex to watch him lose at League of Legends.
Alex, you might just have went from one person watching to 2 people watching.
I don't care if anybody watches. I'm just recording it. I can watch it back.
He's just doing that. Hopefully, he's waiting for
that actually care about League. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much all it. I think we're good on that. Obviously, we're doing YouTube videos. Go and watch us there.
Oh my God, I was like, we are.
Yeah. Also, maybe I should plug my own podcast. I have a podcast. It's the Nuggets of Nothing podcast. If you have not gone over there to listen to it, it's this. But instead, we learn a thing.
And there's only 2 of us, and it's a half an hour
out there.
Yeah, and well, eventually you will.
And I've been begging Delvin to get a guest. That's not me. I've been on my hands and knees find someone else.
I'm working on it.
I want a break. I'm tired of reading.
No, you're not. not. You love it. That's what you're about. Anyways, thank you everybody for listening, and we hope to see you back next week.
Bye.
Later.